SNP government's war on women in Scotland continues. Feminists and conservative groups have finally united to fight against the Scottish administration, and the court case surrounding the issue of pregnant men has gone to the Supreme Court. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tousi TV with the latest update, this time from Scotland. The Scottish National Party have lost their mind. This is the same socialist government administration in Scotland that over the last few years banned free speech. They've given powers to the police in Scotland to come and arrest you if you make a controversial joke at the dinner table with your family in case somebody somewhere else gets offended. The same Scottish government have decided to go against women's rights. The same Scottish government that have not done nothing to protect vulnerable children from grooming gangs and other crises that we have in Scotland. Crime continues to go up, but the priority for the SNP is to go to court, this time the highest court in the UK, to fight for the rights of pregnant men. I'm not even joking. John Sweeney, who is currently the First Minister in Scotland, is very much focused on continuing the legacy of Nicola Sturgeon and Humza Yousaf. This will continue, but there is finally some unity amongst the opposition. So that includes conservative-leaning groups, traditionalists, also feminist groups, because they know they're all fighting against the same tyrants. Now, there's an organization called For Women Scotland, and these guys have been working really hard. They are politically very different to the more right-leaning groups and political parties, but they are fighting for women's rights. They have been organizing a number of events, campaign petitions, and everything else that's happened. There have been a number of fundraisers that have been backed by a number of influential figures, which we'll talk about. But the important thing to mention is that this week, going forward, we have taken this court case to the Supreme Court, the highest court in the United Kingdom, which would be absolutely hilarious if the SNP lose, because all this is part of the Tony Blair project. Both the devolution plans, which is the Scottish government, the Scottish administration having their own so-called Scottish Parliament, as well as the Supreme Court. So these idiots, the control freak, globalist, centralized idiots, think that by creating more of these entities, they could control our lives. But sometimes it backfires. Now, in this case, we have a number of influential figures, including J.K. Rowling, who's been fighting against this, and she's obviously been leading a number of other campaigns, not just against the SNP, but anybody across the world, especially the United Kingdom government, when they go against women's rights. J.K. Rowling has recently given £70,000 to a crowdfunder for the For Women Scotland action group, which has actually raised about £200,000 so far. J.K. Rowling also said last week that if a man is a woman, there is no such thing as a woman. Why are we even discussing pregnant men? That's not even a thing. When did that become a thing? We are talking about 2024, when everybody have lost their mind amongst the political establishment. Meanwhile, when you look at the latest information and stats coming from the National Records of Scotland, it's quite concerning. It has emerged that National Records of Scotland death certificates can record men as dying of cervical cancer and women of testicular cancer in line with gender identity, not birth sex. At this point, considering one of the main arguments from the gender lobby is when somebody is alive, if they feel that they're something else, if they're a penguin or a cactus, then just let them be. I don't care what you do in personal life. As long as they don't force it onto other people and take away people's rights, I don't care. But considering that's been the main argument, then why are they so obsessed with continuing this after death? Why can't we just go back to focusing on biological sex after death? Because it's a body, it's a dead body. You cannot die of a testicular cancer if you are a woman. Stop saying this. Stop ruining reality. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.